Gallup is out with a new poll on Americans' view of the Bible, and we have some really interesting numbers here, so take a look at this. 47% of the American people say the Bible is the inspired Word of God, or inspired by God, but not all to be taken literally. 47% say that. 26% say it's fables, history, and moral precepts recorded by man. So that would be the group that's correct. And then you have 24% that says it is the actual Word of God to be taken literally. So you have, that's a historic number right there, a historic low number. We're at an all-time low of the number of Americans who believe the Bible is the literal Word of God. So that's the upside. The upside is, shit, historic low, right on. But here's the downside. That's still 24%. So, you know, there's 300 million people in America. You do the math. 25% of 300 million. I would try to do the math now here on air, but I'm an idiot, and that wouldn't work out well. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and try it. Let's be bold here. It would be 25 million if it was 100 million people in the U.S., so it would be 75 million. There you go. There are 75 million people in the U.S. who believe the Bible is the literal Word of God. That's a lot of people, dude. That's a lot of people. By the way, that's probably the same 24% that made up all of Bush's approval rating when he left office. I think he left with a 24% approval rating, and I think there's probably a correlation between the people who believe the Bible is literally true and the people who will never deviate from their dear leader. And it'll probably be the same 24% of people who support Trump when he's leaving office. So the good news is it's the historic low. Bad news is it's still a lot of people. But what's interesting to me is, like, most people, a plurality of people, take the take that, like, make no sense middle road. And to me, what that shows is the power of culture. Like, when you're raised in a society where over 70% of the public is Christian, even though we're a secular nation, secular government, like, that impacts people. So to the point where 47% of the country, the largest category, says, well, you know, the Bible's inspired by God, but it's not all literal. So in other words, yeah, I still kind of want to hang on to the bullshit my parents taught me and that I heard when I was a kid, but I'm not dumb enough to take it literally when it alludes to the earth being flat, and it talks about seven-headed dragons and eating shrimp is an abomination, and there's genocide and slavery and yada yada. So it's like trying to have your cake and eat it too. I liked my upbringing, I liked my culture, I liked my parents and what they taught me, and so I want to say, yes, it is kind of true, but not really, because I'm not ridiculous. No, just come out and say it. The reality is it's fables, it's history, moral precepts recorded by man, like they say here. It's not accurate, like all the holy books aren't accurate. But hey, the good news is the worst category of literalism is dropping, and I hope as time goes by, it continues to drop even further.